Auckland is facing its biggest water crisis in more than 20 years. Watercare is warning that residents may have to boil their water if they don't save enough now. That's because the dams in the Hunua Ranges got 2 months' worth of rain in just 2 hours this week, and the silt and debris is clogging up the Ardmore treatment plant, the biggest in the country. Well, the Watercare spokesman Mark Bourne's on the line now. Hi, Mark.
Good afternoon.
Now, so is the problem that so little water is getting through to the plant that you might actually have to let untreated water into the mix that goes out to residents in the city?
Yeah, it's not so much that there's so little water coming into the plant, it's really the fact that that water coming into the plant is literally so dirty. So what that's meant is rather than the normal speed at which we can pass the water through our treatment processes, we've had to slow that down. So that means over the course of a day, we're only treating about half as much water as we would normally be able to treat at that facility.
And then would you purposely let untreated water through if there wasn't enough treated water?
Yeah, so what we've done in the first instance is maximise output at all of our other treatment facilities, and that's offset a significant portion of the shortfall by only having this plant operating at half its capacity. And if all of our Auckland customers are able to reduce their demand by a small amount, a modest amount, 20 litres per person per day, then that'll be more than enough water and we'll be fine. But it is a very, very serious situation, and the consequences, if we don't meet those savings targets, will require that we need to have that partially treated water would be put into supply.
And how are Aucklanders doing so far?
Oh, we're doing really well. I mean, this campaign is only 24 hours old. It was only yesterday afternoon we called for action, and at this time of the year, we would expect to use about 450 million litres of water per day across the region. Yesterday, we used 420, so we made significant savings, 30 million litres of water saved. But what we've got to get down to is a target of 400 million litres a day. Now, to put that into perspective, that's about the same amount of water as we use in the wintertime. So we're not asking people to do anything more than they would normally do in the wintertime. So obviously, what's the big difference between summer and winter? Well, one of the big things is outdoor use. Now, right now, I don't think anyone's watering their garden, and so we're not asking for those sort of savings to be made at the moment, but what we're targeting is simple things people can do inside the home.
So, Mark, what is the absolute worst case scenario here for the plant and for Auckland's water supply?
Well, I think we're a little way away from the worst case, but what we do need to realise is that we're asking people to save water, but the consequences is if we don't meet those savings targets, we still need to maintain supply into the pipeline so that we can flush toilets and do all the other things we do with water. The reality is the amount of water we actually consume for drinking purposes and cooking purposes is a relatively small proportion of the total amount. So that worst case scenario would be that partially treated water would still be chlorinated, would pass into supply, but it would require additional treatment. And the best thing for that is boiling the water that you're going to consume directly.
And what kind of bugs are we talking about that could be making their way into people's water?
Yeah. So I think, once again, we just need to put things into a little bit of perspective. We're very, very fortunate in Auckland that the vast majority of our water, the water from the Hunua Ranges and the water from the Watercare Ranges, comes from protected catchments. What that means is there's no industrial activity, there's no farms, there's no activity in those catchments at all. Water falls on native bush catchments or pine forest catchments and is stored in those dams. So the water quality itself, even that raw water quality, is very, very high quality compared with other sources of water. The treatment plant still offers those barriers of treatment, and the final portion of that is disinfection through chlorination. So it's quite unlike other parts of the world. But the important thing, I think, is right now the water quality that's in our taps is certainly safe to drink. There's no compromise in it at all, and that's why we've reduced the output from our Ardmore treatment plant. But what we're looking for is just everyone making those savings.
Look, thank you very much for your time. That was the Watercare spokesman, Mark Bourne.